This is Rob Tebbutt for Behind the Gloves. I'm here with Frank Warren at the Copperbox Arena. How are you, Frank?
I'm okay. It was good night's boxing for the fans. Some really good results and a very disappointing result.
Now let's just go straight into that. Tell me it's bad journalism if I let questions linger, so let's just go into that quickly. James Degale, we weren't expecting that, were we?
No, I genuinely thought he would have a good night tonight, but it didn't turn out that way. He just didn't seem to get into the fight. I think his tactics, they just got it wrong. You know, this on the ropes, there's too much on the ropes where I think he should have been putting the other guy on the back foot, being more authoritative, using his jab and letting more shots go, but he didn't do that, and certainly the fifth round, which was quite a torrid affair for him. He got his nose broken, and I think that hampered him quite a bit during the fight thereafter.
I do want to touch on something that I actually brought up in the press conference. James this week was referencing this as an easy fight, a nice one to dip his toes back in the water, or some words to that effect. Right. Did that set alarm bells off in your head? And obviously, because that's not what we saw.
I think as I said at the press conference, James is the sort of guy who he sort of does say what's in his head. He's quite sort of honest from that point of view. But I think there was a certain bit of complacency. Maybe everybody thought it was just going to be quite an easy job, and it didn't turn out that way. And really, it shouldn't turn out that way in some ways, because if a guy gets an opportunity to fight for a world title, he's coming here to win. He's got a great opportunity. It's a life-changing thing. This guy's gone back now to the States with a belt, and he's going to start earning some good money. So what our job is now, although I'm not involved with James, but I want to try and help him, is to try and make the rematch and get the guy back over here.
How frustrating is it for you? I mean, I know you've been around.
It was very frustrating, because I was really working hard to. I was hoping, and I hope I'm not tempting fate. I wanted Bill to come through next week, and I was really working. Was going to then try and put James together with Billy Joe Saunders.
Do you think it's going to be particularly difficult for James to come back on the back of a layoff, on the back of an injury?
No, I think he's now got the 12 rounds under his belt. They were tough rounds. Once his nose gets set and he'll recover from that. But if he wants to stay in the game, you've got to come, and I'm sure he will do. He'll want to try and put the record straight, and then you're going to see what he's got in the tank.
Now the rest of the card was obviously packed with young and up-and-coming talent.
Yeah.
Anthony Yarde, for me, seemed like a good fight for this stage of his career.
Very good fight for him, yeah.
Siaklocha.
That's the one.
That's the one. Siaklocha.
Yeah, I think it's worth about 56 on the Scrabble board.
Presented a tricky test. You told me he was going to be a hard fight. He turned out.
Well, I knew it was going to be a hard fight. I knew because the guy's got experience. He had a good amateur record. He's been in with Sakio Beaker, gone the distance with him. Lost a split decision against Stiglitz in his last fight. I mean, these are world-class fighters, and you're stepping a kid up who's only had 12 amateurs, and that's this stage 13 pro fights. So you're stepping him up and saying, right, here's a guy here. Now, what happens if you can't stop him? And he starts taking you into the later rounds, because that's what everybody says. What's going to happen when he gets hit on the chin? What's he going to be like when when the rounds come? Well, he showed that he did get clipped a couple of times, and he also showed that he can turn a fight round, and he did when he wanted to. He just pressed that button and stopped the guy. I mean, he had the fella in trouble, and he's a tremendous puncher. And and for me, it was a good experience for him, that fight. He'll learn from that. I'm sure Tunde and himself, Tunde's trainer and manager, I'm sure that they'll sit down, review that. We'll all have a talk about it and see, what else he needs to do. We know what he's good at doing. There's a couple of things he needs to tweak to turn him even to an even better fighter.
What would you say though as well?
His defence. There's a couple of times we see him. He got caught. He got caught. And he knows he got caught, and that happens obviously as well in sparring. They're sparring. It's not like he's not used to being hit, because that's what boxers do when they spar and go through it. But it's the real thing. And as I say, he was in a quality opposition, and he'd done what he had to do, and became the first guy to stop him.
Now, is the WBO route the route that you're looking to take him? Obviously, it's just been claimed by Sergei Kovalev. Is that the route you're looking to go down?
We're going down that road, but we're not I'm not in a rush to make that fight. He's too soon for that. He needs some more experience. But once we feel he's right, then we'll take the old reins off and let him go.
Now, every time I speak to Tunde and Anthony, particularly this week, they look at me like they're going to kill me. Hopefully you don't do the same thing when I mention Frank Buglioni. Now, is that fight still very much on your radar? Is that something you're looking to make?
Well, no, I think we tried to make it. We offered a lot of money for the fight, and unfortunately Frank Buglioni didn't want the fight. We offered him a 6-figure purse for it, and they turned it down. Now Frank's behind him. You know, he's now, as you say, ranks high in the WBO. He's got number 5 world ranking. None of the other light heavyweights in this country have got that. So he's done extremely well, and that's where he's at.
Just want to touch on Daniel Dubois. Obviously, Dorian Darch's his performance against Dorian Darch been described as frightening by some people. What did you make of that?
I thought he'd done extremely well. I mean, he is what he is. He's the dynamite Daniel Dubois, Triple D, and he triple decked him. He was down 3 times, and the fight was stopped. And
just finally, because the security are looking at me like they're going to throw me out if I don't wrap this up, Lee Selby, unlike James Degale, is not on a fight-by-fight. You've got him on for a 3-fight contract,
correct,
as I believe. Josh Warrington, is that fight as close to being done as possible?
We're getting close to it. We're getting close to it, and we'll know next week.
Okay, well, Frank Warren, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, yeah, man. Thanks,
Always a pleasure to chat to you.
Same with you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Cheers, Frank.
Safe journey up.
Hey, fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking right here.